Dear learners, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Prashant Gautam from University Institute of Hotel and Tourism Management, Punjab University, Chandigarh. Today, we shall be taking module titled Tourism Planning at International, National and State Level under the paper Tourism Planning and Sustainable Development. Dear learners, after going through this module, you would be able to comprehend the term tourism planning, be acquainted with tourism planning evolution over the years in India and abroad, understand its role and important aspects associated with it, understand the various perspectives associated with tourism planning. Introduction. This gives detailed information on tourism development and then correlating it in Indian and international perspective. Planning is the dynamic process of determining and shaping the goals methodologically, selecting alternative courses of actions to realize those goals, then executing the chosen alternatives, evaluating the alternatives and ultimately concluding if it will become successful. The planning process regards the environment, which includes political, physical, social and economic elements as interrelated and interdependent components which should be taken into account in considering the future of a destination. Dear learners, do you know that like any planning progression, tourism planning has to be goal-oriented? Involve your utmost efforts to achieve the preset objectives by matching available resources by keeping in mind the needs and the wants of the people. Comprehensive and all-inclusive planning requires an orderly approach, usually involving a series of steps. A famous scholar, Gunn, in 1992 pointed out that tourism industry originated from tourists' desire to travel and finished with the contentment level of the desires. Hence, while planning for tourism, though some emphasis has to be given to the demand, but more than that emphasis should be given to the aspirations and desires of the tourists, but keeping in mind the sustainable attributes of the local place. This requires careful and inventive planning which recognizes the desire of tourists, at the same time also gives importance to the locality and locals. This prospective action hence calls for constructive tourism planning, keeping in mind the goals and formulation of the policies. Planning is about setting and meeting objectives, but in case of tourism, not much attention was given on planning until 90s. Tourism planning was just restricted to impact studies. In 1979, Gunn was one of the pioneer researchers who defined tourism planning as an instrument for destination area development. Spondis in 1982 proposed that tourism planning should occur within the skeleton of the overall plan depending on the local circumstances and resources of an area sustainably. Planning is an important activity to realize the objectives of tourism development. According to Murphy, planning helps in organized development in tourism by enhancing the social, economic and environmental advantages of the development progression. But are the goals same for all countries? The goals of tourism planning is surely to achieve the positives for both locals and hosts. But the type of planning greatly differs in developed, developing countries and least developed nations. For example, in countries like India, emphasis on tourism is given to create more livelihood opportunities for people in the varied environment conditions in the different states present in the country, especially the lagging or least developed areas. Tourism creates new avenues for people by enhancing the employment opportunities and entrepreneurship pursuits at the same time to enhance the affirmatives and negate the harmful effect. And this can only be possible through sound tourism planning covering the entire scope of the tourism activity and focusing on the key aspects which are vital for its nourishment and development. Tourism is one of the many anthropological activities in the region, but involves both private and public sector activity. Though the responsibility of government is very important as it influences the private activity and plays an important role in tourism planning, policy and coordination. Tourism influences the bricolage of an area in economic, physical, environmental and social aspects. Hence, it should be considered as part of many activities in an area that must be considered as part of economic, physical, environmental and social planning, as all these aspects can help tourism to prosper and extend in a good way. At the same time, to consider these perspectives in a unique way to develop comprehensive tourism planning in a community or as a region as a whole. Tourism planning primarily involves economic development planning, which is directed towards tourism related objectives but differs between the public and the private sector. In the public sector, the majority of planning is done by different levels of government. It gives consideration to economic and social factors, land use policies and zoning controls, environmental concerns, infrastructure development, employment concern, and the provision of public services. Private sector tourism planning is usually apprehensive with investment objectives involving various aspects of product development, building and design, financial feasibility, marketing, management and operations. Review of tourism planning progress in international context. Tourism plays an important role in the economic development of the country. Though the context of tourism greatly varies in developed, developing and least developed countries, popularly known as LDCs. In the present time, planning plays an important role in tourism and its ignorance may lead to severe economic, social and ecological consequences. Further, the level of involvement of government in tourism may depend on several factors such as the percentage of contribution to the economy, the amount of forex earned through tourism, the amount of investment brought in the country, the percentage of people employed in tourism or the type of political environment. Every nation responsible for promotion of tourism has set up central organization to look after tourism. This organization is known as NTO, National Tourism Organization. Apart from this body, there may be also official or semi-official bodies or private voluntary organization of hoteliers, travel agents, etc., which not only promote tourism but also look after the interests of the stakeholders ranging from the local people to tourism professionals. The tourism organizations are influenced by a number of factors in a country. These may be political, economic and social. The tourism industry is centralized and owned by the government in some countries such as Spain, Russia. On the other hand, it is decentralized with no governmental meddling. In Britain, Austria, Germany and Switzerland, also the level of importance a country gives to tourism industry is another aspect which decides the level of involvement the government of tourism organization gives to it. In Italy and France, dual ministries control both tourism and entertainment. The phase of tourism development is one more feature which decides the intensity of authority. The government will exercise over the tourism organization. For example, in developing countries where tourism is in nascent stage or started to be recognized, there more control and intervention is done by the government. Also, here the role of government is beneficial as the tourism activity is still evolving and can pour in monetary benefits which are required for infrastructure and superstructure in development in tourism destinations. In case of developed countries where tourism has evolved over the years, their tourism industry has become decentralized and become autonomous in nature. In 1963, the United Nations Conference on International Travel and Tourism was held in Rome, which recognized the important role of tourism organizations in the development of tourism and recommended that the various governments should grant necessary self-sufficiency and essential resources to tourism organizations for the successful progress and support to tourism at international and national arena. The conference further stated that NTOs having governmental or semi-governmental support served as good basis for a flourishing tourist industry. Though various types of NTOs were considered during the conference. In developing countries, the government should give complete autonomy to the National Tourism Organization. Tourism is an important economic, social and cultural activity, hence the NTO should be given complete responsibility with regard to it. The role of NTO should not be restricted to promotional activities but also include establishment, improvement and development of tourism. In countries which lack a nodal agency of tourism, there it should be the responsibility of the government to set up such a body to aid in planning, developing and promoting tourism. The NTOs should be given more skills, accountability and larger resources so that tourism could be promoted and explored to traditional and new levels. The four broader areas of NTO's organization and work in global context are administration, production, marketing and financing. Apart from it, the main three functions of NTO are control, direction and promotion. The NTO or NTA in a country is responsible for tourism activities. They may be department or government, either independent or under ministry, statutory corporation, a semi-government body or a non-governmental organization. In India, France and Spain, both the function of planning, promotion and development of tourism is done by solitary organization at the nationwide level. In Australia, also the Department of Tourism was an Australian government department that existed between December 1991 and March 1996. But it was replaced by Department of Industry, Science and Tourism in 1966. Based in Canberra, Singapore has a Singapore Tourism Board to market and develop the tourism sector in Singapore. In some countries such as Italy, Japan and Switzerland, there are two organizations, one each for planning and development and promotion. New Zealand also has two organizations such as Tourism New Zealand is the national institution for promoting the country as a tourist destination and Ministry of Tourism which is involved with policy and research. Hence, each country has its own mechanism to plan, develop and promote tourism at national and international boundaries. The nodal tourism organizations have been designed to work perfectly in the framework provided by the government, though the pattern and nature of work differs from one country to another country. Though tourism planning differs from tourism policy, but they have to be integrated if we want to achieve better result of tourism in any region or country. The tourism planning helps in clarifying the present scenario, what work needs to be done and in which direction we want to go. Good planning focuses on sustainability goal without having any negative impacts of tourism. It enhances the satisfaction of tourists at the same time involve the hosts. So, the tourism phenomenon results in a balanced approach. A balanced approach in which positives are created and negatives removed through thorough understanding of the tourism situation. Let's have a review of tourism planning progress in Indian context. In India, planning gears for the country including tourism was initiated by setting up the Constitution, which came into force on 26 January 1950, in which the directive principle of state policy indicated that the state shall endeavour towards the interest of the masses by protecting and securing as successfully as it may a social order in which justice, social, economic and political shall inform all the institutions of the national life. As a result, the Planning Commission in 1950 and National Developmental Council in 1952 were constituted. The former was formed to make the assessment of resources, material, financial and human, formulate a map of their effective and balanced utilization, characterize the periods, apportion the resources, conclude the nature and mechanism for each stage of planning, review the growth and specify the issue which are limiting fiscal growth, while the role of latter was to consultative and assessment organization to reinforce and organize the efforts and assets of the nation. The first plan made no major contribution in tourism, though the tourist division was formed in 1949 and placed under the transport. Emphasis was also given to attract tourists outside domestic boundaries, print tourist material, participate in exhibition and promotional activities and opening of tourist offices within India and world. In the second plan, provision was made to develop tourism as a central and state sector. In the third plan, importance was given on developing and building accommodation facilities, transport and improvement of accessibility. In the fourth plan, tourism was recognized as important means of earning foreign exchange, improving tourist facilities, creation of ITDC and provision of loans to hospitality and transport sector. In the fifth plan, the role of tourism industry was recognized within the country. Many resorts built on Goa, Kovalam and Gulmarg, development of selected archaeological sites and sanctuaries and construction of youth hostels and tourist bungalows recognized for middle income groups. The sixth plan was major signpost in the history of tourism in which lot of effort was done to promote and develop tourism. Also, the first tourism policy of India was drafted in 1982. The prominence was given to the domestic and cultural tourism. Also, the Janta Hotel began in 4 metros. In the seventh plan, tourism was given the position of industry. Also, the National Committee on Tourism was set up by the government in 1986 along with setting up of the Tourism Finance Corporation of India, known as TFCI. The National Action Plan for Tourism was launched in the 8th plan period, and importance was given to diversify the tourism product and development of all-inclusive special tourism area. In the ninth five-year plan, special task force was constituted for the promotion and development of tourism in northeastern states, Sikkim, J&K and Himachal Pradesh. The following circuits were developed such as Buddhist Circuit, South Heritage Circuit, Western Circuit and North Monastic Circuit of Kullu Manali, Lahaul Spiti and Leh. The focal point of 10th five-year plan was integrated development of tourism circuits and development of tourist destinations. Also, to carry out this work, partnership was done with development agencies, NGOs and private sector. Also, Bekal Resort Corporation and Puri Konark Beach were developed. The key events in tourism planning process in Indian context are 1946 Sir John Sargent Committee on Tourism, 1947 Report of Sir John Committee, 1949 Sir John Committee suggestions, government started branches of tourism in Delhi, Calcutta, Bombay and Madras. 1951 to 55 First five-year plan, no allotment for tourism development. 1956 to 60 allotment for tourism be name of transport division. 1957 establishment of Department of Tourism. 1958 establishment of Tourism Department Council. 1960 establishment of Indian Tourism Development Corporation. 1966 establishment of Department of Aviation. 1966 establishment of Department of Aviation and Tourism. 1967 establishment of Ministry of Tourism and Civil Aviation. 1982 declared first time tourism policy. 1986 establishment of National Committee on Tourism. 1986 separate Department of Tourism. 1986 tourism as an industry declared by government. 1986 separate department with cabinet minister. 1988 establishment of Ministry of Civil Aviation Tourism. 1991 tourism as a source of foreign exchange. 1992 National Action Plan for Tourism. 1992 Tourism Year. 1995 establishment of Tourism Cell. 1988 to 99 tourism with export businesses. 99 to 2000 Visit India Year. 2002 the concept of highway tourism, agriculture tourism and rural tourism. A campaign titled as Incredible India was launched. 2009 another campaign titled as Atithi Devo Bhava was introduced. 2009 Hunar Se Rozgar program launched. 2010 the ministry launched its international TV campaign for Europe. 2013 the Clean India campaign launched. 2014 the Swachh Bharat scheme was launched. In the 11th year five-year plan, assistance to Hotel Management Institute throughout the country was given. Large thrust was given in this plan for capacity building, overseas promotion and publicity, market research, assistance for large revenue generating projects, computerization. Involvement of information technology and building construction done in IISM at Gulmarg. The current 12th five-year plan on the tourism adopts a pro-poor approach aimed at increasing the net benefits to the poor from tourism and ensure that tourism growth contributes to poverty reduction. It also aims to improve tourism infrastructure and develop niche tourism products. Tourism is a multi-sectoral activity, but for its development, coordination is required against breadth and depth of the industry. The 12th plan aims vertical and horizontal integration throughout the tourism industry. Review of tourism planning progress in state context. Tourism planning in India is largely done at the state level, though the central or union government greatly promotes it at national and international level. As we know that India is a vast country having large number of states which greatly vary in the context to the tourism product they offer, such as nature, culture, heritage, customs, language, food habits, etc. Also, we know further that each state in India also show a large variety, diversity. Hence, various niche of tourism are promoted by the individual states. Though the central government promotes the whole country under the Incredible India scheme and introducing tourism friendly policies and practices such as tourist friendly policies such as e-tourist visa, medical visa, etc. Similarly, to improve the workforce skills at local and regional level, schemes such as Hunar Se Rozgar are being developed to impart various types of skills to the populace involved in tourism. The various states are promoting their niche in tourism, which is evident in their taglines such as Indian tourism, Atithi Devo Bhava, Andhra Pradesh, the essence of incredible India, Arunachal Pradesh, the land of downlit mountains, Bihar, blissful Bihar, experience the exceptional, Chhattisgarh, full of surprises, Chandigarh, the city beautiful, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, the land of natural beauty, Goa, a perfect holiday destination, Gujarat, vibrant Gujarat, Himachal Pradesh, unforgettable Himachal, Haryana, a pioneer in highway tourism, come holiday with us, Jammu and Kashmir, Chalo Kashmir, Jharkhand, a new experience, Karnataka, one state, many world, Kerala, God's own country, Lakshadweep, 99% fun and 1% land, Madhya Pradesh, the heart of incredible India, Manipur, jewel of India, Maharashtra, unlimited, Meghalaya, halfway to heaven, Nagaland, land of festivals, Orissa, the soul of incredible India, Punjab, India begins here, Puducherry, give time a break, Rajasthan, the incredible state of India, Sikkim, small but beautiful, Tripura, visit Agartala, Telangana, visit for all reason and all seasons, Tamil Nadu, enchanting Tamil Nadu, Uttarakhand, exploring Uttarakhand, simply heaven, Uttar Pradesh, amazing heritage, grand experiences, West Bengal, beautiful Bengal, Bengal the sweetest part of India. The various states in India promote their products in some form of tourism, which are very unique to them. Uttar Pradesh is very popular destination for the tourist due to presence of historical monuments in the state. It is also famous for Taj Mahal and holy places like Varanasi, Allahabad, Ayodhya, Gorakhpur, etc. Karnataka is the historical monument state of India and got huge number of centrally protected monuments such as Virupaksha temple, temple groups at Aihole, Hampi, Chennakasava temple, group of monuments at Pattadakal, Badami Caves temple and Mysore palace. Rajasthan is a state known for heritage in terms of forts and palaces. It is largely visited by foreign and domestic tourists. Jaipur, its capital, is part of the Golden Triangle, which is very famous among domestic and international tourists. Likewise, many other states in India are known for their tourism product, such as Kerala is known for backwaters, J&K, Himachal, Sikkim as hill stations and honeymoon destination, Madhya Pradesh for wildlife, Andhra Pradesh known as Kohinoor of India for giving a diverse experience in terms of beaches, hills, caves, wildlife and temples, Gujarat a lion state of India, Uttarakhand the Devbhoomi and the seven sister states very rich in culture and nature. A tourist can discover different facets in the various states of India which are treatised for tourists in terms of the wide variety of the tourism products. Accordingly, various policies shape each state which are oriented to a special tourist product. Dear learners, let's summarize. Planning plays an important role in tourism. It not only helps to use the resources of a place in an efficient way, but also takes into account the interest of the local community and limiting the negative impacts, if any. The tourism planning initiatives in a country are done by National Tourism Organization or National Tourism Agency. The nature of organization is determined by the type of environment and system the country possesses. The tourism organizations are influenced by a number of factors in a country. These may be political, economic, and social. The tourism industry is centralized and owned by the government in some countries such as Spain, Russia. On the other hand, it is decentralized with no governmental meddling in Great Britain, Austria, Germany, and Switzerland. After India became independent in 1947, tourism did not receive much attention, but slowly and steadily it was realized that tourism is an important arena to capitalize on. This is evident from the current tourism policy. India is adopting and the type of impetus it has received over the years. Thank you.